Hi everyone, my name's John, welcome to JDR Motors. In this video I'm going to go over more the practicalities of running a track car, how best to do it, can you leave them sitting, any maintenance, and also just how I got to the track car in the first place. So I'll do a quick walk around, what I've done to the car, briefly off the top of my head, and then I'll get into the details of how I keep it running, how to get it to events, that kind of stuff. If you want to see the actual build and how I got here, there are previous videos on this car. It's E36 M3 LTW. This is more how you live with it. So to start with, this shell is a 96 328 Coupe SE, nothing special. It was Boston green. The M52 B28, the 2.8 litre engine. Head gasket went, and I put in my M50 B25 non-Vanos engine. So let's start with exterior because that's completely optional for a track car. Full M body kit all around, so M front bumper, which is one of those new but replica ones which fits quite well. I know it doesn't look well fitted, but that's because of me. Aftermarket M side skirts which aren't wrapped very well, and then it has a genuine M3 rear bumper and diffuser. Beyond body kit, it has an LTW replica wing. Really good quality fiberglass actually. People complain about them, but I've had quite good luck. And it hasn't bent in the middle or anything, it's really sturdy. As it was an SE, it didn't have the M Sport, whatever you call it, M3 side mouldings, but you can still buy that new from BMW. A bit dirty, but that's what this is. And it has some replica Motorsport International insert. Sitting on style 22s, which are M3 wheels. I also have some style 24s with some more aggressive tyres. It has bonnet pins, aero catchers, whatever you want to call them, which work really well. It has aftermarket M3 mirrors, and it has fiberglass bonnet and fiberglass boot lid. Like I say, these are all completely optional, and I just went for them because I wanted a kind of lightweight replica. So interior, which is stuff you'll need for a track car in my opinion. It has Sparco Evo 2 Pluses, really big seat, quite difficult to fit in this car, but I have some wide mounts. I can show them. So they're off eBay. They work really well because they're the only mounts I can find that fit the seat. It's either click tuning or PMC short shifter. Doesn't fit quite right, but it works. It's nice engagement. Harness bars are really expensive for what they are in my opinion, so I just went with a half cage to mount the. They're not properly mounted yet, so ignore them. As a harness bar, you get one here, and you get a bit of protection. And there's an aftermarket steering wheel with a quick release. And obviously the interior is completely stripped, apart from a bit of sound deadening, but mostly. Other modifications include HSD Mono Pros all around, and it just has new OEM style lollipop bushes and those kind of things. It has a 3-to-8 automatic diff, but it's open. Not sure on the ratio, but it's not that great. I think it's around 3 or 3.15. Okay, and continuing, I'll tell you what I think is essential, and then you can take it from there. First thing is, get some bucket seats. I know it's obvious, but they hold you in, they make a big difference, and you can get proper harnesses on them. Obviously your harness is the next point. Don't have to get 6-point. These are 3-point. They're like a lap style, they're much easier. It's up to you. Because you're going for harnesses, you need a harness bar. It's just simple as that. Yeah, the way you mount harnesses is very important with the angle and stuff. A good steering wheel is important. The E36 standard ones are nice for the road, but they are quite big. So a smaller steering wheel is preferred. Again, it's up to driver preference. If you go leather or suede. If you go suede, then you'll need gloves. For stripping it out, it's personal preference. The car came like this. E36s are quite heavy from factory. In an E36, you can get a lot of weight out by stripping them, so it's beneficial. It depends what you're using the car for. If it's a bit of road, then probably keep the front carpet, but get all the sound deadening, remove everything from the rear. It's up to you how far you want to go, but less weight is better. The most important thing has to be tyres. Now the difference between a road going track tyre and a dedicated track tyre is massive. So this is like a sporty Pirelli or something road tyre. You can see the tread. That's for road driving. These are Federal RSR track tyres, semi-slicks. And the difference you just wouldn't believe. So road tyres are really good for the road. They offer grip in varying conditions, but the minute you take them on track, they feel good to start with, and then they just, I don't know what the word is, they overheat or they just become nasty. So spend the money and get some good track tyres. Depends on preference, so Federal RSRs are good. Toyo R888s, I don't think they're as good as they are, but I haven't run them. the dedicated tyres. I'd go semi-slick as well. You have to be really serious to be on slicks, and the semi-slick gives you a bit more in the wet. To complement the tyres, definitely go for some stiff suspension. Coilovers. I haven't ever ran the really cheap eBay ones, but HSDs are quite a good middle ground. Some people don't like them. You know, you can go all the way up to KW. Again, it's personal preference, but just get them set up well. Get an alignment as well, a track alignment. Go to a place that will do it, not just a quick fit. You can't see it as well with these wheels, but on the Style 24s, I have -3.5 camber on each side at the front, and that just gives you a bit more grip. It also depends how you like to drive, and what the E36 is, a good balance is about -3 to 3.5. The rear I haven't touched, but you can. Again, everything really revolves around the wheels and suspension. So we've talked about tyres, we've talked about suspension. Brakes. On a light car, it's not making a crazy amount of power, it's about 200 horsepower. I'm fine with standard brake. And at the rear, I just run OEM equivalent. On the front, I run standard size discs, standard calipers, but I do have Ferrodo, I think it's DS 2500s. Engine. There's no benefit of modifications if you're just starting out. All I recommend is a good service. So look into your cooling system. It's a known weak spot on E36s. That's it. On the brake theme, it might be optional to this, but braided lines give you a bit more feel and don't swell as much, and also some good quality brake fluid. So now I've gone through what you need. What does it cost? I think the days of buying £500 E36s are gone. It depends on your chassis and what you're doing, but you can apply this to lots of kind of cars in this bracket. So let's say your car costs £2,000, and that's probably with an MOT, and it's a semi-good start. Coilovers and tyres are probably going to see you over £1,000. You're up to about £3,000 now. Seats, half cage, harnesses, brackets, probably another £1,000, so you're up to £4,000 now. Brakes, £200–300, miscellaneous stuff, so you can probably round it to £5,000 including a car. And a lot of these are one-off costs. That's pretty much the guide for the E36. Now this next part I think isn't covered that much, so that's what I really wanted to try and get into, is the practicalities of it. Like, what do you do with the car when it's not racing around a track? How do you get it to the track? That kind of stuff. To me, it's much easier just to have a dedicated track car. So if you're wanting to drive your car regularly and take it to the track, buy something new, you know, like a Lotus or something, or a Caterham. They can do both. Older cars I wouldn't have as much confidence in. It can be done, but it's not nice driving a fully kitted track car every day. It's a lot more risky driving a track car every day, especially if it's 20–30 years old. Can be done, I'm not saying it can't. So if we concentrate on a dedicated track car, these are quite useful because you can park them up as long as you keep them started and service them. Other than storage, they don't cost you much, so you might have to insure it. It depends on your situation, but you know, tax and MOT, that saves you quite a lot. And if you can face it being parked up, then it makes it easier for working on it. So personally with this car, it's been off track for quite a while. All I do is start it up every so often, and then in my spare time I like to work on it, but that's optional. I keep the old oil in from, you know, the last track day, and then I would do a big service a few days before. I would change the oil before the track day, if that makes sense. But there's nothing wrong in my opinion with the old oil just for starting the car up. You're not thrashing it around a track. Now, getting the car to the track, that's probably, I think, and especially in the UK, one of the biggest factors with track days and track cars, you know, just if they're worth it. It really depends on how many track days you want to do in a year, but say, like most people, you only do a handful, and you can hire a truck locally, just hire a recovery truck. Yeah, there's 3.5 ton trucks, means that you can always carry 1.5 tons on the back of them, which is majority of track cars. You can drive them on a car licence, they're not difficult to drive, and if you think about it, most of the time you're going to be on a motorway, going to a track day. Maybe not for Wales, but you know what I mean. And then that takes the stress away of owning a trailer or even owning a truck. Now, if you already have a trailer, then fair enough, you already know what to use. So now you can get to the track. There are countless videos on what to bring, but to me the main thing is fuel and food and water for yourself. Basic tools, and zip ties, that's about it. And one thing to add as well is, so now I'll get onto the optional things and why it's so important to stick to the essentials. You can get lost in a build for a car, you know, for it to track, trying to make everything perfect, getting all the body sorted, which is a bit of what I did. The best way to learn about a car is build it for track, take it to the track, and then you can make improvements. I think that's my favourite thing about track cars, is you can make them better each time. I've taken weight out of mine, I've adjusted the camber. So get the car mechanically to a place where you like it, and then you can concentrate on the body stuff. Also, if you concentrate on the mechanical stuff first and your circumstances change or you need to sell the car, a running, driving track car is probably worth more than you paid for the car. So you won't always get all your money back, but a running, driving, turnkey track car is still worth quite a bit. It's not as worth as much as a low mileage original, say 328 Sport or something, but no, this 328 was 700 quid. The car is worth more now because it means someone else can just take it on track. So, but if you've got bodywork and bits falling off and stuff, it'll be harder to sell. So concentrate on the mechanicals, and then if you keep the car, then you can make it your own. And the main thing is just to go and have fun with the car. The downside to a dedicated track car with no MOT is a bit harder to test it. Unless you're going to MOTs and things, it's a bit tricky. So in theory, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this quick video. Let me know if you have any questions. I know quite a bit about E36s now, I've done a few engine swaps, and just any feedback. Thank you. So this shell is done and is going. There's a good reason for it. The engine and a lot of the parts should live on, but the shell is going.